Hello, I'm Simon Anderson. Welcome to our Farrer League Grand Final edition of AFL Riverina TV. Joining me at the desk are Nigel Smith, Premiership winning coach of the Northern Jets in 2005 and coaching coordinator at North Wagga currently. We've also got Paul Habel from AFL Southern New South Wales. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Firstly, before we get into the footy, a quick reminder that AFL Riverina is going to be live streaming all three grades of footy this weekend from 9:30am. They'll be doing it again on RFL Grand Final Day from Narrandera. We'll also have commentary of first grade with Luke Francis and Chris Coleman. If you can't get to the games, check it out at home, or if you're at the ground, check it out on your mobile device, including replays of all the big moments. Now, Nigel, speaking of big moments, speaking of highlights, no shortage of good players to watch in this grand final. Who do you think has the potential to dominate this game, and how would you stop them?
I think both East Wagga and Temora have got power forwards. I think whoever controls their power forwards the best will probably come out on top. Young Harpley and obviously Wallace for Temora. You know, they're going to be two keys, and Mark Parr, I dare say, will take one of them. And he's an aggressive player, so I think he'll shut one of them down. And up the other end, obviously Geppert and Chris Jackson. He's going to be a hard bloke to stop because he's such a big man.
Hubs, these two sides play similar styles of footy. We've mentioned a couple of strong midfielders aiming to spread the ball and the dominant forwards. Where's it going to be won and lost?
I agree with Smithy here. I think the backlines will play a huge role in this game, there's no doubt about it. I think Charlie Valance will play on Gep, which will be a good matchup. Young McAllister, he's a small back that'll probably pick up Moy. Moy kicked 3 on the weekend, and he's a good little goal kicker. Parry, I think, will play on Matt Harpley, which will be another good matchup. And I think Trent Garner on Matt Wallace will be another really good contest for the day. But look, across the board, you've got Ben Absalom. He'll probably rotate into the back line as well through the midfield. Blake Aitchinger has carried the ruck all year for East Wagga, and Stacey will probably go into the ruck for Temora at some stage. You've got Jack Irvine, who's a very polished player, has come through talented player programs and represented the state, and a really good kid. Young Fisher's another one. I see Johnson was their best player on the weekend. As I said, Moy's a goal kicker. So I think the back lines or the forward lines will play a huge role. Watching the game on the weekend, I think that they were very good with the ball tomorrow. They use the ball well. They run it out of the back lines. They hit their targets up forward. They don't miss too many goals either. So that's a bonus for them. Yeah, I think this will be an interesting one. I think Gep will kick 6 this week. I think Hartley will kick 4 and Wallace will kick 3, and it'll be an interesting game.
It's going to be a very interesting one. Smithy, you took charge of the Jets back in 2004, went on to win the flag a year later. Gav McMahon's come in and rebuilt the Hawks, both their lists, their playing style. What have you made of the job that he's done?
Oh, he's been very good, obviously. When he was up at the Sydney Swans, he learned a lot of things up there, and coaching Wagga Tigers to premierships as well. So he's recruited very well with Habel and Gep up forward and in the back line. So, he's done a great job, and they're a lot fitter than what they have been the last couple of years. They've played finals the last few years and fell short not making grand finals. So I think that's going to give them a lot of hunger to win this one on the weekend. The
two teams appeared at a Farrer League media conference during the week. Let's have a listen to what they had to say.
Yeah, look, as I said, it's probably been the most challenging year out of the three. Just combine injuries and suspensions and a bit of off-field stuff, and also to say you've got 7 other clubs out there that are trying to knock you off the top. So a real challenging year, and the boys have. I think a lot of my young blokes have had to really step up quicker. You can maybe blood 1 or 2 and try and give them responsibilities off the bench and stuff like that. With this year, we've had to. I know in the first 5 rounds, we had to throw Dan Leary in the ruck and had to have some Jack Irvines and guys like this had to actually stand up and make an impact. So I think that's probably been the biggest thing is the young ones that have come in have had to make a total impact straight away. We haven't had time for them to sort of find their feet. They've had to come in and make an impact straight away. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way the young kids have sort of learned. And the older blokes have had ups and downs, I think, this year so far. But I think in the last couple of weeks, their leadership's been really good, and hopefully that extends on Saturday.
The start of the year, when you say if someone had said playing in a grand final, we're more focused at the start of the year about rebuilding a football club from the ground up. you know, the grand final appearance and potential results, really just the cherry on top. And you know, probably something we were building for, in particular for next year. We probably, you know, got there a bit quicker than we would have hoped, but yeah, we got 20 odd new footballers into our football club this year, all bringing in their own, you know, own special traits, I suppose. We had a whole group of boys that had been there for a long while and hadn't seen a lot of success. So there was a lot of, you know, getting to know each other early on, and you know, certainly our early results showed that. But as far as where do we go from here, my goodness, we got a hell of a lot of football that we can improve on. You know, our game style is still very basic. Our standard of our skills are, you know, still not where they need to be. But in saying that, we've been fortunate enough to, you know, get where we need to go. So we're sort of, you know, very aware and appreciative of the work that all our boys have done, you know, and all the people at the football club on and off the field at the moment to put us in this sort of position. But yeah, we see this, you know, result or the game on the weekend really as the start of a journey, not potentially the end of one.
If we can get it all clicking on Saturday, we had a really good second half last week where we had to, you know, we dug deep, which was a really good sign going into a grand final, because, you know, grand finals it's probably probably the most unskillful game of the year, a grand final. So you need to have a bit of guts and a bit of fight about you. So look, we're hoping that we can provide that on Saturday. You're not in any position, we're not undefeated, and we're not, you know, we've lost to East Wagga 3 times. So we've got to make sure our game's up to scratch.
Obviously, there's a different prize at the end of round 20 than there is at the end of any of the other rounds. But, you know, as far as preparation goes, I think last night, I said to the boys, it's nice to see 30 or 40 boys on the track at up past 5 instead of, you know, 20 to 6. So a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of people coming from all over Australia this weekend to support the club. So, yeah, from that point of view, it's a really consolidating year for the football club, and allowing a lot of people to re-engage with our footy club this year has been probably one of the highlights.
As players, you know, they've got some good players. Geppett's obviously a good player and a formed player up forward for them. They've got some really good midfielders running through there, and a pretty strong backline. You know, they've got a really strong backline that's held us down pretty well each game. So we've got to make sure, you know, we can get some good delivery in there, and some boys can hold their grabs when it gets in there. You don't get in grand finals because they've got Geppett at full forward. There's a lot of other stuff going on up the field that you know, we'll try and combat, and hopefully combat it with the way we play.
Like I said, I'm still expecting our players to improve on Saturday based on the last game that they've played, because we're still new, we're still green, we're still learning about each other. I mean, you know, we've only played 15 or 16 games together there at the moment, so a lot of those boys, you know, so you know, so our improvement will come from within. And as far as tomorrow go, mate, outstanding side. They've got the runs on the board. We're certainly trying to obviously get our club and our side to the level that they have. You know, they've really set the standards around football, netball, off the field. And, you know, and from our club's point of view, we think we're well on the way with our football and our netball and off the field. But, you know, our under-17s, we've still got to work to get to a Temora standard at the moment.
Hubs, Temora had a decent turnover of players last year, but they have great depth, and here they are again in reach of a third premiership. Have they raised the bar in the Farah League?
Oh, there's no doubt after the last 3 years they have, but other teams are starting to catch up with their recruiting. I mean, the recruitment of McMahon as coach, for example, has been a very good move by East Wagga. Certainly Mark Kruger is a very good coach. The good thing about Temora is that they've developed their players. They've had a good retention plan from their juniors through to their seniors, and that's paying dividends. You know, their local players may go away, some of them to play on a higher standard, but they keep coming back to the club. There's no doubt that they have raised the bar, but the other clubs now are starting to catch up. They're recruiting similar type players, and that's why the Farah League's such a good competition. I think across the board, they're very even sides. Yes, CSU had a bit of a rough year this year, but the other teams have done extremely well and continue to raise the bar as Temora have done in the past 3 years.
Nigel, Temora have that premiership experience. They know what it takes to win one. Come grand final day, how important is that?
Oh, it helps a lot, yeah. You know, they've played under pressure games and they've come over the top of sides the last 2 years, so I think it's going to be a very close game. I don't think there's going to be too much in it. Like Harb said, it's going to be whoever kicks straight at goal, that's going to be the key.
Hubs, a tip for what's going to be an absolutely cracking grand final?
East Wagga by 2 goals.
Yourself, Nigel?
I'll go 3 then.
Alrighty. We also have a couple of other grades, obviously second grade, the two same sides, Temora and East Wagga, I guess shows a lot about that depth that we're talking about. Got a tip for the reserves?
I think Temora in the reserves. They've been consistent all year. They've rotated a few players in and out the seniors as well. They use a couple of under-17s players, so yeah, they have got the depth in the club. I think they'll be too strong for the Hawks in the reserves.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I'll go East Wagga in that one as well. I think they played pretty well against Mara on the weekend. I watched that game, so I think they should win that too.
In the under-17s, you've probably, I guess, got more authority on most than talk about this one. Northern Jets up against North Wagga, your old club up against your new club.
Yeah, well, the Northern Jets have got some absolute guns. Mitch Maguire, he's a very talented young player, but obviously I've got to tip North Wagga to win that.
What do you reckon, Harps?
I reckon this will be one of the games of the day, actually. So if anybody wants to get down and see some talent run around, the 17s game will be fantastic. Jets have been really consistent during the year, as of North Wagga. I don't like to go against Smithy here, but the Jets have worked hard to recruit their under-17s base, and in another really good game, Northern Jets by 2 goals.
An absolutely cracking day of footy on the way. Guys, thank you very much for joining us.
No worries, thank you.